Meeting of the Amherst Township Trustees called to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Abraham.
Here.
Lynch.
Here.
Euring.
Here.
Kish. All here. From the November 8th, 2022 Amherst Township Trustee meeting. The meeting was called to order at 7 p.m. by Chairman Lynch. Pledge to the flag. Roll call. Abraham, Lynch, Euring, and Kish were present. Also in attendance, L. Ashley, G. Lynch, K. Smarsh, S. D'Ambrosio. 11-122, a motion by Abraham, seconded by Euring. Move to approve the October 25th, 2022 regular meeting minutes as corrected. All ayes. 11-222, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Abraham. Move to approve the financial reports and payment of items on the payment listing, which includes ARPA fund expenditures as specified in documents provided by the fiscal officer. All ayes. Under correspondence, Trustee Lynch noted that the Zoning Commission had a final site plan meeting for 4 Seasons at Sandstone subdivision of 48 home construction for Sandstone development. It passed 4-0. 11-322, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Abraham. Review and approval of Amherst Consolidated Properties, LLC, 4 Seasons at Sandstone subdivision, home construction for Sandstone development, and findings of the Zoning Commission pursuant to Amherst Township Zoning Resolution Article 1200, Plan Development District. Roll call. Lynch. Abraham, yes. Euring, no. Under reports, for zoning, there were 92 permits year-to-date, 22 new homes year-to-date. 1 permit so far this month. Under road, park, and cemetery, Road Superintendent Smarsh reported last round of roadside mowing and leaf pickup. Truck is ready for colder temps this weekend, just in case. Everything has been going really well. Trying to get in 1 more catch basin on Moss Canyon complete before the weather gets bad. Under Administrators/Senior Services, received word that OPWC has paid their portion for the Dewey Road project. It's Medicare time, so scheduling appointments, and Wreaths Across America was in the office today and was checking that all veterans' grave sites in Amherst Township were covered. Phase 2 received a MOU from Lorain County Stormwater District Management District for the Batten House Ditch Logjam project. Packets contained a copy of an email noting the trustees will require answers to 4 questions prior to soliciting bids or proposals. 11-422, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring. Move for authorization to enter in memorandum of understanding with Lorain County Stormwater District for Batten House Ditch restoration and logjam removal. All ayes. Under complaints, they are being handled by the designated individual. Under new business, Trustee Lynch noted that packets contained a copy of an email regarding the proposal for the grinding and hauling costs. Trustee Euring noted that he has several calls out to various vendors for quotes and will hopefully come in at a lower cost. He ran it past Don Romanchik for a stormwater grant, and Don didn't sound very optimistic as qualifying. As far as dollars from solid waste, the funding would come from the EPA, and you would have to apply very early. Something to look into for 2023. 11-522, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring. Authorized that the road superintendent is authorized to select a supplier or contractor for the grinding, processing, and removal of the yard waste from the township's recycling yard at a cost not to exceed $18,000. All ayes. Trustee Lynch said packets also contained a copy of the 2023 NOPEC budget narrative. Neil pointed out that the 2023 budget still contains is actually what that should be, or still continues the NOPEC Energized Community Grant Program and the Community Event Sponsorship Program. 11-622, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring. Moved to enter into executive session at 7:52 p.m. according to ORC sections 121.22 G3 for pending litigation for a zoning violation and property access. All ayes. 11-722, a motion by Euring, seconded by Abraham, to return from executive session at 8:25 p.m. All ayes. The next regularly scheduled meeting is here tonight on November 22nd at 7 p.m. here at the Amherst Township Hall. 11-822, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring, to adjourn at 8:25 p.m. All ayes.
Are there any changes or corrections to the November 8th meeting minutes?
I do have a copy of them. Are they
You do
right
have a
here?
copy.
Oh, I see. Okay, I found them. They're here. They're here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
see them.
changes
There.
or corrections?
No, I reviewed them and
We'll wait till they get the car alarm off out there.
That's my car.
I do it all the time.
Okay, then can I have a motion to approve the November 8th, 2022 meeting minutes as read?
so move.
Second,
Euring,
Yes.
Abraham,
yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Okay, then under financials. You all got the payment listing. There was nothing really that stood out other than payroll and regular monthly bills. And then our year-to-date revenue is $1,956,313.55. And our year-to-date expenditures is $1,327,499.83.
Any questions on the bills? I mean, it's a smaller amount this
saying
time.
Our fund balance is roughly about 5.4.
Oh, actually, before you got to those, you had the credit card
Right.
is
Summary
in,
we
that
got,
usually
yeah.
comes before we approve the financials, so,
Want to do that then next?
sure. I have a copy, I have received all the receipts that were, I had 3 missing, and I have now received them all. And it
The
shows-
2 that aren't checked, or the 3 that aren't checked here can be checked then?
Yes. And I thought I checked it on the one that was in the, but I may not have, in the green folder for signature.
Yes, you did. They're marked in, it's not electronic, but just like I just did. Okay. All right, are there any questions then on the financials?
I have none.
Okay, then, first, then can I have a motion to approve the financial reports and payments of the items on the payment listing, which includes ARPA fund expenditures specified in the documents provided by the fiscal officer? I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second it,
Lynch?
Yes.
Abraham?
yes.
Euring?
Yes.
And that number, Chris?
That's 1110.
Then I'll make a motion that the credit card account transaction detail has been reviewed per policy and the card statement is accepted as presented, subject to investigation.
Second.
Lynch?
Yes,
Euring?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
that's 1111.
Yes. 1111.
What did you get from Meyer?
Ink for my copier.
Really?
All right, is there anything else, Chris?
My at home, because I do a lot of work at home. Yes, that's all I had.
No one in the audience, so we'll move on to correspondence. Chris?
I did put in your packets a notice from J.D. Tomlinson from the prosecutor's office regarding frontage on North Lake Street, AKA Pile South Amherst Road. And it's a home going into tax foreclosure.
Did Sam get a copy of
I did
this?
give Sam a copy.
Okay, because I wonder if this is one, when they were going to the update of the zoning map here to try and get all the amendments that have occurred over the last few years, and I know Georgianne was working with the auditor's office in the map department, and they'd come up with this oddball lot that had no frontage, and obviously taxes weren't being paid, and they ended up, the auditor went back searching, and they could find, it was odd, the owner, who obviously doesn't exist now, and there's no family. I wonder if this is that spot, so, and maybe if you just give a copy to Georgianne to look at it, but it more came up when they were going through the zoning, as to
Parcel
what this
number.
should be. Yeah, this is just a parcel. There's no home here. So it's no frontage, no home. You know, it was backland, and this was very similar to the, you know, oddball parcel she came across.
And the only other correspondence I received that I want to make you aware of is we've received a price increase notice again from Central Exterminating that they will be raising costs 5% again this year. So I believe it was 5% last year and 5% this year.
We have 5% more bugs.
Getting pretty expensive.
What do you have there now? Yeah, when they,
Our current rate for the hall is 162.23 and it's going up to 170.34. And then the property, the rental is going from 86.52 to 90.85.
Got a question on the one bill here. What's this His Way Investments?
Street sweeping.
Street sweeping? Okay.
The invoice is his way,
Oh.
doing business or whatever.
all right, that's it for correspondence
for
and
correspondence
announcements,
with
Chris?
me.
Okay, David, correspondence and announcements?
I have nothing to bring forward at this time.
All right, Danny?
Nothing.
All right, well, I do have a few, and some are in your packet, but first, the ones that aren't. This came up at the November 17th meeting of Lorraine County Township Association. There is going to be a NOACA meeting at the County Administration Building from 9 to 11 a.m. on December 1st. And NOACA is coming back to where they're proposing changes to the facility planning area. So those are the areas that are designated, a designated management agency. Generally for us, we're talking City of Lorraine, City of Amherst, City of Elyria, or our township, where they identify which agency with a wastewater treatment facility has the rights to serve that area. And NOACA is recommending changes. I don't know that they'll send a notice here to the township specifically. I expect they will not. I was at a previous meeting where they had showed their initial proposals on these changes, only because at that time I was acting as one of the representatives for the county commissioners on NOACA. So I received notice of it, and there were representatives from Columbia Township, and at that time Dick Heidecker, who was the Lorraine County Township Association's rep, was there. But the interesting thing, I had asked with some of the changes that NOACA was proposing, you could see would expose the township to additional potential annexation considerations. I'm not saying those would happen, but you can see where that is definitely a proposal. And I asked Grace Galucci, the director of NOACA, was there, as was Eric Aiken, who works on the maps, and there was two other individuals from NOACA. I don't recall their names. And I asked them if are they aware of this, and have they considered it? NOACA does not consider annexation whatsoever in their decision making, and said that's really not up to them. I know Commissioner Lundy was at that meeting, and he had spoken out and said that he definitely does not support annexation and would prefer communities work things out. And then Mayor Whitfield from the City of Elyria was also at the meeting, and I know he seemed frustrated by the position of Commissioner Lundy, because obviously, mayor of a city, he supports annexation because it expands their boundaries and expands their income tax base. Realize by expanding the city's income, or not their tax base, means a reduction generally in the township's tax base. Now, there were some changes in the last annexation law, which I think was back around it's either 2003 or 2005, in that range, where there's a phase down of the property tax loss that townships see, but it's definitely a loss. So if you're able to get at that meeting, I would suggest you do. Again, that's currently it's scheduled at the County Administration Building from 9 to 11 on December 1st. So Mark Cunningham, the Secretary for Lorraine County Township Association, said when he receives notice, he'll make sure he sends that out so the townships are aware of it, because at the last association meeting, he encouraged townships to be there to recognize what the potential impact is on them. And usually this is more the townships up in the northern part of the county, though it can impact some in the southern part too. They had mentioned the Lorraine County Community Alliance Roundtable, and you've got a copy of this in your packet. That's where all the communities, both the townships, villages, and larger municipalities come together. This will be on Friday, December 2nd from 9 to 11 at Lorraine County Community College Spitzer Center. I know that the Alliance at this point, they're hoping to have our new congressional representative at that meeting being Bob Latta, but there hasn't been a commitment yet, but that's the hope. They usually have some of our local state representatives and Senator Manning there, and sometimes someone from the OTA, but I don't know if they'll all be there in person or if, as last year, people were there virtually. And then the communities tend to go around to discuss, accomplishments from the past year and what the plan is for the future year. So it's usually a well-attended and a good point and source of information and a place of networking. So again, that will be on Friday, December 2nd, 9 to 11 at Lorraine County Community College Spitzer Center. There was also the announcement, Lorraine County Public Health is they're looking for communities to host meetings for for residents that have on-lot wastewater treatment facilities, and what the operation and maintenance should be on that. They're trying to get people prepared for the change in statute that's going to require annual inspections of those on-lot systems by the health department, which obviously haven't occurred in the past. So if people have a failed system, they can continue to operate, and with a system that's not working, that their wastewater may just be flowing through and eventually finding its way to Lake Erie. But we obviously don't have a hall large enough to do that. I know that Russia Township's been discussed, Penfield Township, Grafton Township, and those particular townships, almost everybody's on an on-lot system. There's very few that are on central collection system. Now in our township, we're kind of split. We got people both ways. Obviously in the north, most are on a public sewer system, but we still do have on-lot systems up there also, like on portions of Overland Road, North Ridge, and our whole west side is all on-lot systems, and a good part of our southern side. But when those sites are set up, I'm sure Lorraine County Public Health will put out an announcement. In the past, last year was their first one. If they set the date and time and location soon enough, we will get it in our newsletter and get it on our website so that people have notice of that, can choose to go there to get prepared before they just get surprised if they find out that their system's inspected and determined to be defective and they have to go through a high dollar maintenance on that. And then the last, and I think Linda's aware of this, she may have had communication from the auditor, but Lorraine County Auditor still has 11 computers available that they'll give away free. I don't know that we have a need for it or an upgrade. If someone has an older one, if they work probably through Linda, she can find out if this is an upgraded system and what comes with it, and then we'd get rid of the older computer that we have here. But again, this was as of Thursday, November 17th, the county auditor announced they had 11 computers available, since they've obviously upgraded, that they'll give out to the townships, which they know don't have the deep pockets. And they've done this in the past, and I know we've received their computers in the past, but I don't know if we have a need for them this year. And those are all, there is one other announcement. We've got Lorraine County Township Association will, in their December meeting, they will be hosting it as they have in the past, like a Christmas party. You've got a copy of it there. You know, we all pay, you know, I know some of the communities pay for the attendance, but we all pay for our own to attend that. So if you're going to go there, fill out the form here. It's $20 for attendance. But as in the past, they're, you know, they ask that door prizes be brought. There isn't going to be the need for the donation of food or toys as we've done in the past, but just the door prizes. So assuming there's no concern, I assume we'll just give a $50 gift certificates from some of our township businesses. Last year we used Grove's Fruit Farm. And unless somebody has a dying need to go to someone else, we'll probably use them this year. You know, we've used our local service stations. We've used some local nurseries. We've used Grove's. I don't know if there's someone else you want to change to or go with Grove's this time again. Okay. I like the gift cards because it forces them to come back to our township to spend their money too. Okay, so we'll do that at $50, so it might be 2 separate gift cards versus one at $50, so that, you know, more people have an opportunity to get it. So that's it for the correspondence and announcements. So we'll move on to reports. Zoning, Sam?
Yep, as you all can see, we've had 3 permits pulled this month. Brings us up to 94-year-date permits, 23 new homes. We had 1 more new home permit pulled this month. 1132K, he has till the end of the year, and he assures the shed, K Drive, he assures me he will have it moved by the end of the year, and then he will come in and pay for the permit.
Okay.
So he's trying.
Well, I'm glad he's working with you to get that done. But, you know, hopefully he has good weather to do that.
That may be a problem, but yeah.
Now, you can work on it with them if whatever happens there. But I appreciate it. Was that new home in Hampshire Farms?
Yes.
Are there any questions for Sam?
How many homes are there in Hampshire Farms now? Do you have an idea?
I know, I'm going to say, I'd guess, I'm going to say 11. I know, I think 8 families have moved in already.
I went through and counted 16 that are
That much?
under some construction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're under some construction. It's not families in there.
They're moving right along.
And I do like the report, and that's why you'll see the zoning fees are significantly higher over what we're used to at just under $31,000, but because it's the new homes, which are the higher dollar items. So I do like your report here, Sam. Okay, we'll move on to roads, parks, and cemetery. Superintendent Smarsh.
We've just been hit and miss on the potholes. We're picking up the leaves in the cemeteries and the park. Tomorrow, we'll do a finish round for the leaf pickup in Kendig and at the park. We had a couple of small maintenance issues that we were able to handle, no problem. We can spread a little bit of salt here over between Friday
yeah.
and this weekend.
I heard you go by.
Yeah, and you know, I had Russell with me, and then let him take over. And there's definitely, you can see the experience that he has, you know, from his prior job. So feel real confident.
Yeah, since he's done it before, but the main thing's going to be learning the routes and the township boundaries. So, and I assume you're taking him around on that.
Oh yeah, most certainly. I even gave him a map of Hidden Valley.
So he doesn't get lost?
Well, yeah, and I mean, he must be studying it because he knows the names of the roads and stuff. And I remember way back when I first went down in Hidden Valley, and I was like, what? But he's kind of learned the shape of it, I may say.
Yeah.
He's definitely got it.
It's easy to get lost, and that's something to think about in the future, because you don't want somebody necessarily just looking at their phone if they map things out, but, you know, in the future, you might want to get a larger iPad that can be mounted in there, you know, if it's even necessary. After a while, you know, he'll get to know them.
Yeah, I actually have a printout that I gave, you know, we highlighted the cul-de-sacs, you know,
Yeah.
just something for him to,
He might, yeah, once he gets it down, but, you know, in the future, we might want to think about it when there's somebody new is, you know, if you had the iPad, not only does it show where the roads are, it shows where you are in relation to those roads, so, you know exactly where things are without having to look for signage, and, you know, it's usually when you're down there, it's during the height of a storm or it's dark,
right.
so it's just something to consider. And it's easier to glance at versus looking at that paper, you know, and it won't divert your attention away for as long. So just something to consider.
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of the new vehicles are coming with it already mounted. You know, obviously these older trucks don't have that.
Right. But that's all I have.
Okay, are there any questions for Kevin?
I have none.
How much salt do we have in this?
Right now, there's about 250 ton. And we have 400 on the contract.
How much room do we have in this shed right now?
Well, we could put another 100 ton on before we'd have to start tarping. So my plan is here in the month of December to at least get 100 ton, you know, stuffed in there, and then, you know, go from there. You know, if I think I could get 200 without having to tarp it, then maybe by the end of the year I'll have 200 ton.
I don't know how January and February are gonna go, or
Right.
March,
Or December.
Yeah.
December. Well, we kinda got an idea.
Well, hopefully they have drivers to make deliveries on time. I know you had one year, you were waiting, and it wasn't just you, it was other communities the same thing, but they need drivers. All right, we'll move on then. I have nothing new as far as Lorco to report on since our last meeting. We'll go on to the Phase 2 MS4 for our stormwater requirements. Obviously, it's, the community grants are now available for the 2023 year, and we're looking at the portion of continuing the Batten House ditch starting from Stang Road and then moving to the south. If you recall, that was shown in our last grant application to be the next phase on that. The issue is going to be getting the county engineer or someone from the stormwater district, typically it's Matt Arnold, to actually walk the properties and take the photos. The other option they have, now that the leaves are down, is the stormwater district does have a drone, so they could actually fly a drone over there and take the videos and then get screenshots for where the various restrictions are that need to be removed so that we can get a reasonable estimate of what the cost is going to be. The district is still working on getting the easement, so they're helping us out there for the portion from the Lakeshore Railroad, right here near Overland Road, going up to where the Batten House culvert goes under Middle Ridge as you move to the west and northwest. They were having some difficulty getting the easement, just the timing from Ohio Edison. So I did contact our contact we've been given for government affairs at Ohio Edison, and he's been real good at moving that through and working with their public affairs and engineering department. But now their engineering department came back asking for more detailed information. So with that, I provided all that information to the Stormwater District because now that's something they'll have to work with Pete Zawick to satisfy them. But I believe that'll bring it down to only two easements they need to secure before they're ready to put that out for bid. We would actually put it out for bid, but it's been recommended we wait until they have all those easements in place. So that one's just in a holding pattern. Then you also have, and this is fresh off the presses, and that's why I was rushing here at the end to get in your packets, is our payment for what was last called the Angle Ditch Restoration Phase 3 project. That's the one that was completed by Flow Properties, also known as Wolf. They've done their job. The engineer agreed to the change orders. The engineers agreed now that it's complete so that they can be paid. They've already been paid $100,000. Their original bid was $156,747.02, which was by far the lowest bid. But during the construction, there was a $5,000 deduct that after, and Kevin's aware of this, multiple communication with Pete Zawick in the county engineer's office, he agreed to it because working with the property owners, they realized the original plan where we would have had to take down some fencing, remove a bridge that was going over, put in some gates to provide ongoing access for maintenance in the future, that there was another access point that the property owner agreed to that negated all that work, so essentially resulted in a $5,000 savings. So the total, that deduct meant that Wolf Brothers, on completion, was due $151,747.02. So since they've already been paid $100,000, they're still owed $51,747. At the time when we made that first $100,000 payment, there was still some remedial corrections that Pete had indicated needed to be done, and he provided photos for all of that remedial work. And so they weren't to be paid the balance till that work was completed. Well, now that the work's completed, some confusion came in because since there was a Phase 3 and a Phase 4 project, and then Pete recommended those get combined and just call it a Phase 3 project and bid it all as once, that the economies of scale would bring the cost down, and it did. And his estimate was it would bring the cost down from $234,500 is what he had when they were two separate projects. He then gave a revised estimate of $205,450. I realize you take, even with the $5,000 deduct, his estimate would have been around $200. Wolf, with that deduct, came in at just a little under $152. So it was less than what the original estimates were. So but the Stormwater District, and it was Jessica Zlowski, she's just looking at the MOU between the Stormwater District and the Township that says Phase 3 project. I think she's forgotten that this is Phase 3 and Phase 4, and she recommended Amherst Township pay what the township agreed to pay on our share for Phase 3. So I spent a lot of time today putting together a spreadsheet to show the progression of what's changed and where the costs were, and then put it also, and you've got a copy of this email here in your packet, and I did email it to everybody, as to what is it that you want us to pay, and do we owe anything? Because we were awarded with the two separate applications from the Stormwater District, $197,000. That was based on Pete's original estimate of $234,500. But the final bid price was just under $157,000. Then with the deduct, it's just under $152,000. So, does the township owe anything, or is the policy that they go by what the original proportional shares were that were agreed to? I'm going to assume they go with the original proportional share, but I don't know. So if that were the case, based on what the originals were, if you look here, Amherst Township's contribution, based on the engineer's estimate, would have been 16%. So if you take 16% of that final cost of $151,747.02, our cost would be $25,120.87. But I don't know what the district's policy is here. So I've just laid this all out, sent it back to Jessica. I also, and Don Romankek's copied on there, and Pete Sawick, but I also asked the reverse. Well, what happens if the cost increase? Because we've gone through that where the county engineer then agreed to additional work, but we didn't agree to that additional work, and the question was, well, who's paying for that additional work? It made sense what he did because the contractor's already there, the equipment's already there, he saw the need, so it made sense. It was the lower cost way to do it, but who's paying for it and how much, because there was no agreement yet. So I'm not faulting that. His decision was appropriate. It was just the follow-up, who's paying what. So to me, this is a similar situation. So that being the case, I don't want this contractor to be waiting, since they've completed the job, for a decision from the stormwater district, and then having to wait for us to have a meeting in 2 weeks, or have to hold a special meeting just once this is all worked out. So, and I don't have a prepared resolution because this was just sent out to us today from Jessica with a query. So I'm going to make a motion that the fiscal officer is authorized to pay, I got to get their name right, Flow Properties Incorporated, also known as Wolf Contracting, an amount not to exceed, I'll wait till you catch up, Chris,
Okay, Wolf Contracting, an amount,
not to exceed
gotcha,
$25,120.87 as the township share for the Angle Ditch Restoration Phase 3 project.
That's your motion?
Yeah, I've still got some more here. Once Chris
Okay.
gets- Okay, and then the balance owed of $26,626.15 is expected to be paid by the Lorraine County Stormwater District.
How much is that?
Lorraine County Stormwater District, see, they've already paid $100,000.
Okay,
So they're
that's
just
it.
would pay,
26,000, okay.
right, the remainder. Let me know when you have it, if you can repeat that,
sure,
Chris.
give me 1 second.
I'm not saying we're paying that, but if we get a response back,
Then we don't have to wait for the,
yeah, you don't have to wait. We don't have, this contractor's been waiting over a month already.
oh, more, yeah. Okay, balance of,
Well, a month since they completed the remedial action. So, they weren't, that's why we only paid $100,000. They weren't going to get full payment until they were complete, but they've been completed well over a month waiting on this.
okay, a motion by Lynch, move to authorize the fiscal officer to pay Flow Properties, Inc., also known as Wolf Contracting, an amount not to exceed $25,120.87 as the township share for the Angle Ditch Restoration Phase 3 project. Balance owed of $26,626.15 is expected to be paid by Lorraine County Stormwater District.
Stormwater District. And Chris, we should add, this is all predicated on the Stormwater District providing their, policy. I mean, we need to hear from them. 'Cause, again, I don't know what we would pay, but it should not exceed that amount.
Okay.
Okay, so don't cut a check till we hear back from the stormwater
Oh,
district.
no, I won't.
Whatever
Until
policy
you tell
they,
me, I won't.
yeah, whatever policy they set, I expect that policy to be followed for every community.
Okay, I'll second.
Good.
Yes,
Lynch?
it's yes, I said yes.
Oh, well, okay. Euring?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
That was 11-12.
11-12.
Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome.
Okay, we'll move on then to complaints. I don't have any updates there on any of these. We've got them, they're just holding right there right now. And Sam's already addressed the one on the storage shed. We're okay there. So as far as the unfinished business for which the various people are assigned responsibility, is there anything to bring forward to the board?
I have one thing. I would like to make a motion that we appoint Georgianne Lynch from secretary to the fiscal officer to administrative assistant.
I want to change, not appoint, change.
I'm sorry?
Change.
Change.
Not appoint.
Wouldn't that be in the next part,
I'm sorry?
in the organization?
Organization. It could fall under organization. What are you asking?
I just didn't know if that would be under in the executive session under organizational.
Well, I would like the job title just to change from secretary to the fiscal officer to administrative assistant.
Okay. I'll second.
Okay, you need to give me a motion or,
That's the motion.
okay?
Change secretary to the fiscal officer's job title.
To administrative
Administrative
assistant.
So do we have a job description, or what is, you're just changing?
No, I don't have a job, I don't have that, but it's going to be administrative assistant. Can you read it back to me once you get it done?
Move to change Georgianne Lynch title from secretary to fiscal officer to administrative assistant.
That's correct. And David has seconded it. Once you're good, you can call the roll.
Okay, Abraham?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.
Lynch?
No,
Abstain.
Lynch. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Is there anything else here? I know, David, you gave us a report on solid waste at the last meeting, just so you're aware. Your report was then read at the Lorraine County Township Association meeting, too, so everybody knows.
Okay, so they understand what's going on pretty much.
Yes, and they do. So it was very helpful, and the discussion was similar before. Obviously, nobody wants that, a fee on property taxes. That's pretty unanimous from the townships, but they're aware that, there's either got to be cuts or revenue somewhere else, and they know that the district's looking at the potential of a generation fee, and that the commissioners currently cannot adjust the tipping fee because of the previous agreement that a previous board made.
There's some strange language in there that they can't, I forget what the exact verbiage is, but they can't promote it or can't recommend it even. They can't even say, well, let's do it or let's look at it. They can't even say that. They're stuck with it. And, the host community agreement expires, which I think is in 2026.
Yeah, there was. I don't recall the date was read off. I don't recall what it was, but it's a few years out. So they're going to have to do something before that. Real impact on us, just so everyone's aware, is that it will completely eliminate, most likely, the community grants. I always go back to, at one time, we used to receive $70,000. That got winnowed down. We had gone a few years with nothing. Now we usually look around $8,000. Well, we're going to be back to nothing on these grants. They also may be cutting, they provide funding to the Sheriff's Environmental Crime Unit. That may get reduced. There's funding for the county engineer, and there's funding for Lorraine County Public Health that may all get reduced.
What they do is they give those entities a flat amount. They pretty much spend it, I wouldn't say as they want to, but it's a flat amount. Now, they're going to ask for more, I want to say an invoice itemized. It's going to be more project specific, so to speak. If you want a community or an environmental crimes officer, you got to specify for how much. That's what you will get. You won't get a blanket amount. Maybe or maybe not, it'll be used for environmental crimes. Maybe if there's a little left over, it'll go to something else because it's extra money. But no, now they're going to ask pretty much for invoice.
Okay. And then for community grants, they said the option would be you could apply for the EPA grants, and they'll help us write those. Have you looked at what those what grants are eligible, or what projects are eligible for those EPA grants?
Not yet.
Well, take a look at it, because I did, and it's amazing that I didn't see how, though maybe it can, that our yard waste recycling would fit the EPA grant. But we could certainly get a litter collection program, litter education program, and all these things. But it's like, come on, really? All those programs, you could pick up every piece of litter along the roadway, and you're not going to mount close to that pile that you know would go into the landfill if we didn't have it here. And we've got to keep in mind, this whole legislation is all set up to conserve landfill space. Always got to come back to what is the objective of even having this legislation, all these requirements, is to conserve landfill space. So, but we're going to have to look at that, and David, I hope you can. And one other thing I might suggest is, can you ask the city of Elyria if they can provide you a copy of their contract that they have currently for handling of their yard waste? If we can actually see what's in there, they might even be able to tell you, if you can find out how many people bid on that. I assume they have a longer term contract, because nobody's going to want to go in and out of that, you know, similar to when we had the request for longer-term contract for the grinding. Looking back on that, we would have been better off to have had a longer-term contract with the huge increase we're seeing right now. And I think, Denny, I think that email was copied to everybody. David did get another quote, but the quote was based on a per diem, but then when you read through the detail, they gave, well, they expected they could do like 600 cubic yards a day. Well, for the size of what we got here, it'd be over 5 days to do it. When you look at the cost, it was even, that cost, which happened to come from Edwards, was significantly higher than Barnes. And then based on the motion that the board passed at the previous meeting, and Kevin knowing he's got a time constraint now to get rid of this with the weather, the decision was, well, that quote is a lot higher than we normally would expect, but he pretty much has to go with it for right now. And that's why I'm asking these, David, to look at them as to what, you know, who bid on the agreement, what Elyria has, because we might want to look at something similar. I don't know that we even can do it the way Elyria has it, because they've got their whole area fenced off, and because in this case, they currently have Barnes operating it, and they actually do mulch it up, and then they sell, you know, the compost that is there. I don't know that we're going to get into something like that.
Who sells it, the city of Elyria or Barnes?
It looks like Barnes operates the whole thing, but you'll find out in the contract. It's just something to look at.
But they sell it from their
Yes.
yard over in Elyria?
Yes. Yes, and if you drive over there, they've got some rules on the gates and whatnot. I know Elyria, going back a few administrations when they got this started, was because yard waste was becoming a problem for them. And they were saying the whole thing was operated at no charge. But, you know, who knows? Things could have changed, because just like we've seen, you know, the cost increase, and we know how in the quotes we've had in the past, you know, some, depending upon the market for compost and yard waste, sometimes the contract want to leave it here at our place and not take it. Other times they want to take it. You know, and we used to just give it away free, but there's not enough people taking it once it's ground up now, so we've pretty much got to get it out of here. But just if you can start looking at, and who knows, maybe the district will start helping you, because if they're not going, you know, I'm pretty much accepting they're going to do away with the community grants completely. Well, that being the case, what are they going to do to help us to conserve, and again, to conserve landfill space? To me, this is a major benefit to our residents.
Major
but
benefit to the district,
it's
because like you
right.
said, it's all refuse is out of the system.
Right. Oh, okay, well, thank you. I just wanted to bring that up.
Question to the
Mhm.
clerk. How many approvals or how many motions do we have tonight? 4?
How many motions?
Yeah, how many motions
5.
were passed tonight?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so far.
Okay, so we had 1,009 or 1,109?
11,922 was the minutes.
Oh, okay.
1110 was the bill.
1110 was the payments. 1111 was the credit card.
Okay,
1112 was the authorization to pay.
right.
And
And
Wolf
then
Wolf Contracting. 1113 was
1113
Georgianne. 14
Georgianne. So we have 5 motions that were passed tonight.
so far.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay?
Yep.
All right, then we'll move on then to the new business. I just wanted to report on the railroad quiet zone. That's the 5.4 mile, 5 crossings between Brownhelm Township, City of Amherst, Amherst Township, Elyria Township, and the City of Elyria, is that the On November 18th, by certified mail, all the information and documentation was sent to Norfolk Southern and the Federal Railroad Administration. And at this point, the consultant, which was hired by the city of Amherst, is recommended just give it 2 weeks. If we don't hear back from people in 2 weeks, he will start shaking the trees to get our quiet zone declared. Realize there's still the additional work that the railroad would have to put up, where they have to put up their own signage along the railroad, informing the engineers that it's, not to sound the horn. So it is moving forward. And then the city of Elyria still is working on, as far as I know, and I haven't talked with their engineer, Kathy McKillips, recently, but working to extend it all the way through to their border with North Ridgeville. But they just, as we've mentioned before, they have some additional obstacles they have to overcome. And so we split it, where we were originally trying to do the full length. We said we're not going to have that hold this up, and they agreed. So we've got these initial 5 crossings to be done, and Elyria may come back later with an additional 3 crossings in there. But that's something they'll handle separately between Elyria and Elyria Township. As far as an update on the tax incremental financing, all I can tell you is that's still moving forward. That is between Amherst exempted school district, village school district, Lorraine County, and the township and the developer. There's been several meetings and communications, but at this point, Amherst Schools is doing some due diligence and the financial analysis, and they do have a consultant that at their next board meeting, there's a potential that they'll be bringing on a consultant to actually help them through the financials and decide what action, if any, they might take. Now, I am going to need an executive session this evening. I'm going to make well, let me ask first, is there any other business?
No.
I'm going to make a motion for Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22 G1. The first one is in regards to personnel, and I'm not going to read all the reasons here, but essentially I want to have Kevin there discussing our performance of our new employee in the roads, and then once Kevin leaves, I want the trustees to go over the preparation of any compensation adjustments for 2023. I'd like to have that discussion now so I can get the organizational meeting agenda prepared, which we're going to hold on Tuesday, December 20th for the 2023 organizational meeting. Then I also have, as far as pending litigation, discussion on a property access issue. I just want to bring everyone up, and I'll need Kevin and Sam for that. We'll probably cover that first, since that deals with both of you. And then the other ongoing property issue with litigation. So when we take care of the property issue, Sam, you'll be free to go, and Kevin, when we take care of personnel, then you'll be free to go. Okay, so that is 121.22 G1 and G3. That's my motion.
I'll second it.
Lynch?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
Urick?
Yes.
All right, I'll make a motion that we return to the regular meeting from executive session at 8:35 p.m.
I'll second that motion.
Lynch?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
Urick?
Yes.
Okay, our next regular meeting will be on Tuesday, December 13th, and then it's 7 o'clock. Then at 7 o'clock on Tuesday, December 20th, we will set that meeting date for our 2022 end-of-year meeting and our 2023 organizational meeting. And then, Chris, for you and I, we might have to formally have a Records Commission meeting. And I don't know if you want to do that like 15 minutes before.
I will know as soon as I can let you know
Okay.
about those dates.
All
But yeah,
right.
I'd prefer the
So
same.
December the 13th is our first December meeting.
Correct.
Correct. And just let me know then, the Records Commission, we can either do it before or after.
Okay, as soon as I know, you'll know.
Okay.
Our next meeting will be on the
13th?
Are you canceling the 20th?
20th.
Are we canceling the 27th?
Yes,
Yes.
Cancel the 27th, and then the regular meeting will be the 13th. Year-end organization will be the 20th. Okay.
Okay. And Chris and I might hold a Records Commission meeting that date, David, either prior to or succeeding the end-of-year and org meeting, but she'll have to let us know. Right? Okay, is there any other business?
no,
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
so move,
Second.
Abraham,
yes.
Euring,
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.